next we have for the earth signs, we have for the air signs, we have for the fire signs, and then we have for the water signs. We're going to go ahead and get started. Alright, air signs, here we go. So let's go ahead and get started with our reading. So looks like we actually have the Judgment card, the Ace of Swords, and the Three of Swords. Of course, you guys are going to be getting swords cards because you are earth signs. For those of you that don't know this, the swords are associated with air. So yes, let's go ahead and jump right into our reading. So right away, I am triggered to tell you right now that, and of course these are very generic readings, but just, you know, hear me out. And also, if you guys hear anything in the background, understand that there are kids outside playing around and things like that. And we all know how joyful kids are. But anyway, basically what I'm triggered to say with this reading is that, first of all, there's a sense of clarity. The things that you had gone through, everything that you've ever felt has led you up to this point, and the situations that you are in right now have revealed themselves to you, and you are now able to actually see them actually for what they are, and you are learning from them, and you are actually figuring out the reasons as to why you had gone through this, or this person did this, or this person did that. What I'm triggered to say with this pull, though, is that with the Judgment card, is that the Judgment card obviously is about in my own opinion, it is associated with transcendence, and it also is associated with transition, and it also is about understanding and figuring out what you've accumulated so far. And you are actually, it's kind of like you turning in your paperwork. It's like you've taken the test, and so now it's time to turn that into the teacher to see exactly what you've actually learned, to see if you're passing or not. And so what I feel like this is saying is that with all of these triggers that you've had at this point, it's time for you to really step back and really look at them and use your intellectualism for the good of this situation. Because what I'm seeing coming from a lot of people is that sometimes when you're feeling offbeat, or when you're feeling like you're walking with two left feet or something like that, or when you're walking with two right feet, it's like you're not really able to get to the place that you're trying to go. Or what I'm also feeling like is that for some people, it seems as though this whole time everything just seemed kind of fuzzy. Everything just kind of seemed like it was out of place, and you just felt like there was a sense of non-belonging, or there was a sense of this is not enough for me, or this is too much for me, or this is just not, you know, it's not what I thought it was. And so now that it's revealing itself, you're like, look, this hurts me, it's painful, I'm suffering, and I'm tired of this shit. And what I am feeling coming from this is that this is not, it's a lot more than frustration. It's about anger. But the thing is like what I see for a lot of people is that at one point they were like in this whirlwind of just anger, of this angering thoughts and just lightning and thunder all into this one whirlwind, right? And then the thing is that because this also has to do with a lot of emotion, I'm also seeing a lot of whirlpools, and I'm seeing this lightning. It's like a whirlpool in the sea, and then, you know, the sky, you know, it's thundering, it's mad, it's angry, and so it's pouring all of these different things in. And so there's just this storm of emotion and thoughts and so many different things because of all the shit that you had gone through. Excuse my French, but this, to me, is indicating that there are some of you who are just so fucking tired. You are just so tired. And the thing is that I feel like a lot of you have been selfless. I feel like a lot of you have been doing humanitarian work. And I feel like a lot of you are losing your sense of compassion because you're tired of being the compassionate one and always putting your best foot forward in order to help other people. And what I feel like is that you're being drawn into your own thoughts. But at the same time, there's also this other side of the well that's saying, look, if you actually peek down into that well, you can actually see your own reflection. And what I'm triggered to say is that when you're looking at your own reflection, understand, you know, who you are. Understand that these afflictions that you carried in your womb need to be birthed into something beautiful. And you, my dear, need to use your intellectualism and really look at it for what it is, and allow yourself to be centered, and allow yourself to allow the storm to pass. This is not you trying to control the storm. This is you doing your absolute best to just feel in the midst of the storm, to observe it for what it is, and to see what it is. That way you are actually able to move forward. This hurt and this pain that you are feeling, remember that suffering brings transcendence. This is you using your pain so that you can actually get to this point of awakening. This is an awakening period for you. Whether you like what happened or not, this is you awakening. And the thing is that even though the Judgment card is not in reversed, because normally when it's in reverse, from my own experience, is that if it's in reverse, it's kind of like it's forcing you to go, or it's forcing you to move forward. But what I'm seeing though, coming from this, is like, this is something that you know deep down that you need. And the thing is that with the Ace of Swords, this is somebody of extremely strong intellect. This is somebody who they can peep this shit from a mile away. But the thing is what I'm triggered to say with this is that even though this is something that hurts, even though this is something that is painful, even though this may feel like, and this is not, I don't mean this literally, but even though this may feel like, your neck has been wrapped with bladed chains, because that's how painful this shit is to you, what you are feeling is like, look, I know that regardless of how I feel, I know that regardless of what these people are saying and how they treated me, I know that I needed this so that I can understand my own intellectual power, and I can actually use my imagination for good. I can actually use my intellect for good in order to get me into this next step, in order to create change, in order to help me through this transition. But the thing is, what I want to say though, is that sometimes when you lose sight of where you are going, when you lose sight of your power, that's where everything comes crumbling down, and that's where the tower moment happens. That is where the tower moment happens. But what I'm triggered to say with this for my air signs is understand the strength of your intellectualism, understand the strength of the fact that you are more than likely someone who is a humanitarian. Understand this cycle, and understand that this is nothing but a test to see if you are ready to evolve or not, to see if you are actually ready to be it's in my opinion, it's kind of like a rebirth, but if anything, it's all mental. You have the mental capacity to see beyond the veil. You have the capacity, the intellectual capacity to weed things out that you don't need. And so what the divine is telling you is do not lose sight of that. Do not allow yourself to be so swamped with pain and torment and agony. Do not allow yourself to meet your demise because of that. If anything, allow yourself to flow with these winds. Allow the winds to do what they do. Rock with this. And it's so funny because in our last reading with the earth signs, I feel like we mentioned turbulence. I can't remember. But to be honest with you, this is that turbulence where it's just like, yo, it's do or die at this point, man. Excuse me, like it's do or die at this point. And it's like, yo, like I really need to get my stuff together. I do. Like, I really need to get my stuff together because I know how far I can go. And the thing is, though, is like, I am still evolving. And because of that, I still don't know how far I can go. And what the divine is telling you coming from this is like, look, you know, it's like you know what to say. You know exactly what to say to hurt somebody's feelings. You know exactly what to say to cut them deep. You know exactly what to say, but you also know exactly what to say in order to create change. You know exactly what you can say in order to make things better for not just other people, but for yourself. And now is the time for you to be sharp with your thinking. Keep yourself on your toes. You keep people on your toes with the way that you think, and that is okay. There is nothing for you to apologize about that. And you may have ideas that are unorthodox. You may have ideas that are contrary to popular belief, but that is okay. No one understands your pain more than you do. No one understands you the way that you do, other than the divine. But the divine is not person. The divine is spirit. The divine is the universe. The divine is energy, and energy will manifest itself no matter what. It has always been. It always will be. And there is absolutely nothing that anyone can do. And so what the divine is saying, because of that, remember to be truthful. Remember to I'm so sorry, I'm stripping of my words. There's so many downloads I'm getting right now. But remember that in this moment, allow yourself to receive the downloads, but allow yourself to be clear. Allow yourself to be precise. The same way that these swords have no rugged edges, allow yourself to be smooth and precise and sharp, just like these knives. Allow yourself to penetrate through these thoughts and understand that you are the observer. Remember to be the observer. Sometimes we don't need to always think too deep. And the thing is like, and I'm one to talk because I know that I also have the ability to think so deeply into things. But sometimes if these things are surface level, they are surface level for a reason. They are surface level for a reason. And even though you know that there is deeper meaning to that, allow them to be what they are in these moments, because no matter what, you are able to see past the veil. You are able to see past what is put in front of you, and you are able to see past the pain, because you know that this is vital for your growth. This is vital for transition, because how could you possibly know who you are without this pain? Understand that. It is time for you to assess. It is time for you to really start to figure your shit out. And this is not me trying to come for you, but this is me letting you know that it's time for you to assess. It's time for you to use your logic and your reasoning. It's time for you to use your logic and reasoning in a good way and not against anybody, not to meet your own detriment. We don't want to do that. That's not what we're doing right now. We are using it for good. We are using it for exactly what we need. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? And it's amazing, because we do have Moose here, awakening transcendence. Where there is suffering, there is transcendence. And I'm going to say that one more time. Where there is suffering, there is transcendence. The herbs that I'm seeing you guys work with right now are lavender. I'm seeing you guys work with lemongrass. And those are the ones that I'm seeing you guys work with. As far as like the and I also kind of want to say mugwort too. As well. I'm not sure why I want to say mugwort or even wormwood. As a matter of fact, I know why I'm saying that, because those herbs are really good for divination. And when you are, when you are practicing divination, you are actually receiving signals from the divine and it's like you're opening your vessel up to receive these messages and these downloads in order for you to gain clarity. So that is the reason why I am seeing these herbs and you working with those herbs, if you are into working with herbs or not. And then the dragonfly, what this is also about is that it's so funny, because that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. That's exactly what it is. The dragonfly, clarity, truth, seeing beyond what is in front of you, understanding. And this is, to me, is something that is so, that we all have the ability to do, but you being an air sign, it's like, this is your playground. This is the void for you. This is where you birth things. And this is where your mind can play. In the realm of thought. Your mind plays in the realm of thought. Your thoughts bounce off of each other, but it's time for you to really start to utilize that and to balance that and to remain balanced. But also remember to have compassion in the midst of these things. Remember to have compassion. Remember to have compassion on yourself, and remember to be just to be easier on yourself. Loosen up the grip a little bit. Just breathe a little. Just breathe more. Remind yourself to breathe. The breath of life, breath, air, wisdom, air. Allow yourself to breathe in that wisdom. Allow yourself to just breathe and to just be and to just flow. Have compassion for other people. And as strong as your intellect is, understand that you are also a being of compassion. You are also a spiritual being. You are. Remember that. But what I feel like I want to say with this, though, is that you being a being that is so amazing when it comes to your intellectualism. You have divine intellectualism, and that is great. But what I also want you to do is start to merge those together. Start to have those come together to form this perfect idea, or to form this perfect new way of thinking. A win-win situation is forecast. Full moon in Libra. So amazing, because we're talking about earth signs. Not earth signs, excuse my French. We're talking about air signs. And of course we have a full moon in Libra. Being able to see both sides of it and looking at it, so where there is an actual balance. The thing is, and it's so amazing, because the thing about the Judgment card is that with the Judgment coming to hand, to me, this is the perfect balance. Transition is balanced, because if everything was if everything was always in this one space, it would be too heavy and things wouldn't flow properly. So when you see these things coming together, this is like, look, learn from what you are seeing, learn from being balanced, learn from seeing both sides of the picture of it. You see what I'm sorry, learn to see both sides of the picture. Learn to see them for what they are. A win-win outcome is forecast. And what this means, in my own personal and my own spiritual opinion, what this means is that no matter what, you will come out on top, because you are at a point in your life where you are starting to understand how important or how imperative it is for you to allow yourself to think with clarity. Whenever you allow yourself to think with clarity, whenever you allow yourself to be open to truth, it is inevitable for you to win, because you are doing it it's coming from an authentic source. You see what I'm saying? It's coming from an authentic source. Detachment, faith, harmony. You are being guided to follow your inner wisdom, find clarity, and focus on purpose, passion, and joy. Begin now to reinvent yourself and your life. You are a powerful co-creator with limitless inner wisdom and infinite potential. Well, I feel like this is, and it's so funny because you guys are getting so many air signs. It's so amazing. The thing that strikes me about this card in particular, as far as this reading, is that it says detachment. The most perfect thing you can do when you are observing is to detach yourself from the thing that is, so that you are not allowing your emotions to get involved, so that you are not making a biased assumption of something, or to allow yourself to prevent or to detach from it in such a way that you are seeing it with an objective point of view. That to me is what detachment is for. Because with detachment brings understanding, because you are detaching yourself, zooming out and looking at the whole thing, looking at the whole picture. And that's exactly, and it's so amazing that a win-win outcome is forecast. When you detach yourself and you start to harmonize with those notes playing around you, instead of you playing your own notes, ignoring everything else, you are able to help create the perfect cosmic song. And that is so amazing. That is so amazing to me. Oh my God, that is so amazing. I love it so much. Boundaries. Love yourself enough to say no to others' demands of your time and energy. Remember, always what the goddesses are saying to you right now is to remember to set up a boundary. I think we talked about humanitarianism, how more than likely you air signs can definitely be humanitarians. You also have to remember to take the time out to say no and stop accepting anything that is less than divine. You know that you have power. You know that there's power in your intellect. You know that. But use your intellect to say no when you have to. There's nothing wrong with saying no when you have to, my love. Absolutely not. Don't you dare think that there is, because there's not. Use your energy to focus. Use your energy to breathe life into what you are going for. Use your focus to bring in your understanding and your infinite wisdom. Sometimes I feel like air signs are underrated. I'm just saying, and I'm not even an air sign saying this. Anyway, compass. The thing about a compass, and it's so amazing because if you look at this compass, it actually does have the signs on there too. So this definitely has to do with astrology. What I'm seeing a lot of people doing right now is that they're looking to their natal charts to find out what their purpose is, and that is so amazing. I see a lot of people looking into the first house to see who they are and how they present themselves to the world. And I'm also seeing people really looking to that sixth house to service, their health and things of that nature, their service to others. And I'm also looking at, I feel like they're also looking at the 10th house, the house of career, and then they're also looking at their north node. And it's so amazing. We're talking about the north node because where are you going? Where are you headed? The only way for you to get to that point is that you have to remember. I'm so sorry. I'm laughing, guys. I'm not laughing at it because it's funny. I'm laughing right now because I feel there's something inside of me that's just tickling, and it's really just like it's prickling me on the inside. It's a good thing. Don't worry. But anyway, what I'm seeing from this is that in order for you to truly know where you are going, you have to be able to pause and you have to be able to detach from everything else so that you can be able to gain clarity. This is not to say, slap your friends in the face and, just completely forget about them, but and to completely abandon your family. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that release expectations, release the detachment, release the need to always clinch onto things, and let it be what it is, and focus on the north node. Compass, the north node. This is the north node. This is where you are headed based off of what was in the past. This is where you are headed. This is you taking all of that information. Where's that card? I need to see that card right now. This is you taking everything that you learned, taking all of that information, and you applying it and you using it in order to get exactly to where you need to go and allow yourself to arrive at that shore because you deserve it. And the last card, all there is to love has been there all along. You knew what it was all along. You knew this whole time. Your soul knew this whole time. And that's the reason why your soul urged you to go to where you were going. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. All there is to love has been there all along. You have been there all along. The divine, source, spirit, your ancestors, your guides have been there all along. And they have been guiding you. They have been urging you and pushing you towards this point in your life now. They have been. Man, y'all are loved so much. Like, I just want to give y'all so many hugs. It's so amazing. When you begin to find love in people and places where you haven't found it before, it's always because you've grown. You so rock the universe. And it's so amazing because it actually reminds me of this card, I communicate with compassion. Remember to not lose sight of love, because love is the highest vibration. No matter how no matter how strong your intellect is, no matter how deeply you're able to think, no matter what, remember to not allow love to be the last thing. Put love first. There is love in saying no, and there is also love in detachment, because remember, love is not always about attachment, but love is also about detachment, in order to allow things to grow and to prosper into what they're meant to be. I love you guys, and I hope you all found some type of clarity in this message, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much, everyone, for your love and support. I really do highly appreciate that. I also wanted to take the time out to invite you all into our sacred space. If you are new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. We would love to have you a part of our Eden family. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Magick of Eden. There you will find daily readings. You will also find videos on messages that Spirit has guided me to give you. Thank you so much again for your love and support. I highly appreciate you, and I really do welcome you into this journey where we are here to transform into our higher selves. I love you so much, and again, thank you for your support. See you soon.